Hello, I am Angelica McGee with the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program. Today is May 22nd, 2023, and I'm interviewing.
Edwin Alves Do Nascimento.
How old are you?
I'm 29 years old.
What gender do you identify as?
Male.
If you're comfortable with sharing, what sexuality do you identify with?
Heterosexual.
What ethnic or racial identity do you identify with?
Um, I'm half European, half African, so mixed race, I guess.
Were you born in Glasgow? If not, then where?
No, I was born in France, in Paris.
How often do you visit home?
It's been a while. Last time I went was like 5 years ago, I think.
What part of Glasgow do you currently live in?
The South Sides. So basically, we call South Side just like South of the Clyde.
What is your highest educational background?
So I had a baccalaureate, so it's like end of lycée in France, and then went like 3 years in university to study sports.
What do you do for a living?
I play music, so busk, and play some gigs, and I start working in Porto, working Porto the weekend as well.
And where are your parents from?
So my mom, she's from France, Paris, and my dad is from Luanda, Angola.
And what do they do for a living?
So my dad was a musician, and my mom, she was a nurse, and now she's a head teacher in a kindergarten.
What about your grandparents?
Sorry?
What about your grandparents?
Oh, so I've known mostly just my mother grandparents because my dad's like in Angola. I was born and stuff as it was a bit more complicated. But so my mom, so my grandma, and she used to work for the council. She's French, sorry, and she used to work for the council. My granddad used to work in, I think he was working in a factory as well, and he's been pretty much doing that.
And your siblings?
Uh, so we are three from the same mom and dads, and a few more from same dads. And so my brother, he's a, gosh, how do you call that? He works, he's a manager like in a shop. And my sister, she's an osteopath for horses.
And what is your relationship or marital status?
I'm single.
Do you have children? Would you say you're religious?
Not really. I grew up in, so my grand, she's religious. Like she used to go to the church on the Sunday with her, etc. But from there, I'm more, I'd say like more spiritual. So more like I don't really, it's like make more sense to me. The stuff that are energy roaming around and stuff like that, so I don't show that. So just basically mostly like what our ancestors understood, and I just go with that. And if there is a problem, then just fix it. Religion is a bit too too close, basically.
Would you say that you're political?
Not really, no, because I don't believe in that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the mostly the system that we live, like the system that we live in, that's the way I say it, the system that we live in is not really, it's not that efficient for everyone. It's more efficient for some people than others. And I believe more in maybe like, I can't never remember that word in English, maybe the same in France, in French, but how do you say that in English again? It's, okay, well, utopia? Utopia?
Utopia.
Utopia. So maybe in utopia, but to me, it's fine. You have people that need to have responsibility and things like that. Basically, like, take responsibility. So it's like that. You have people that are better at this than that. But the system that we live in is just not a share. It's not taking care of what everyone is good at. It's just you are there, you work for us, and you don't really bother with what we have to do up there. When to me, it's not. Society should not work like that. Is that the more secret they are, the more problems you can get later. It's like in a relationship.
Is there anything else you'd like to share as it relates to your identity?
No, not really. And growing up in both, I mean, I grew up in both, like with both sides. Even if I just mostly grew up with my mom, which was French. So our sister, so my uncle, so our sister's husband, my uncle, he's from Mali, and my mom's never really like had our African origins as well. So like where we grew up, everyone was pretty much mixed and we grew up with it. And so we grew up like growing up in those like with these two backgrounds. I believe it made me a bit like much stronger because you understand that both backgrounds at some point, like first of all, they come from the same place, but as well the same stuff happened to them all. Basically, same exact stuff happened to them. So it's like yes. You try to get every single route, and every single route just look the same. So oh, should not be any difference.
What are some of your favorite childhood memories?
Really hold like holidays with my from my uncle. So my uncle, my auntie, and my cousins, etc. They lived in the north of France near Alençon, near Caen. And I usually would go there on the way to Brittany, so we had a house over there, and she would spend the summer there. So on the way there, we'd stop in Alençon, just spend like quite a lot of time with them, and then after go to Brittany, and they are like growing up in Paris and in skins. Basically, like when you go out to play with your pal, you just stay on the football ground, so your parents can see you at the window, but you don't go far. You don't really go away. There in Brittany, there was a house, a farm, nothing else. We would leave at 12, come back at 4 for some tea and cookies, and after just go back out. They would never know where we were, but do that. So it was like freedom over there. In town, it was still had freedom, but a bit more, to be a bit more secure over there, a bit more wary of what's going around. You don't want your children to go on the wrong side. So that's how it is in Brittany. Um, some holidays in Portugal as well. Like when we went down to see my dad down there in Faro, it's like south of Portugal, in Algarve. That was nice as well. Yeah, mostly just like family, like most of the family time there are good memories, yeah, pretty much.
Any specific ones about your dad?
Mm, well, that one in Portugal, that one was good because stuff were going on, and it was funny later on too. So I was like 4 years old, but I still remember it like if it was yesterday. And stuff were going on. I would see it as from the eyes of 4 years old. And then when I was 14, my brother told me basically explain me a bit more from stuff that were going on, like argument or like happy moments or sometime with my dad when we go like somewhere, and it was just really funny to learn all of that later on when I was 14. And then growing up even more, it's even funnier when I just think of everything. It's like yeah, it was just like fun during the full time. So yeah, that and so when but my dad is dead, so like when he was at the hospital before he was about to die, but I didn't spend, so I didn't grow up much with him. But like there, like I spoke a bit with him, and there was that time, that moment where I was in his bedroom, and I mean he was awake, so he could speak himself. But my dad said he was not like he could speak if he wanted to speak, but I mean he's an African man, so he talks. Well, he goes straight to the point. If he doesn't want to talk, and just sitting in the room without saying anything, it means something as well. So like basically we were just like in the bedroom, did not speak much, stayed there for maybe a couple of hours, did not talk much, but like anytime like he said something or I was saying something, we had like a real discussion and just all we needed to have. So yeah, it was a big moment.
What, if any, Black cultural traditions do you practice from experience or have created for yourself?
Mm, So let's see. So I mean, there are quite a few spiritual like stuff that I've learned from my African background that I got for like I follow, and it's because it's more figure. So some people like when you talk about like African spiritualities, like they get scared and they just think of juju and black magic. So in Indian, it's a philosophy. It's a philosophy and just understanding of what's around, basically. And so there is that. There's all that thing that like the link with the ancestors that we say. It's like it's everything is within you basically, but you can just project it outside if it makes it easier to project it outside. But everything is in there. So you have that, the like type of meditation, just your ancestors, but being European as well, and from European background, we're Celts, Germanic, and Scandinavian, and a bit from everyone. And back in the days, like it was the same. You had a strong link to the ancestors. Even my gran was, she's a Christian. When she prays for her ancestors as well. So nothing really changed much. So I've learned new stuff from African roots, but after I realized that yeah, in European roots they were pretty much the same, but they've been quite and changed like for reasons, but they're the same. So I was saying earlier, when you get every roots, they are the same. So people who are doing the exact same things changed a bit, like a language, but usually stuff's like that was my grand would say that. Usually, if you want to learn something about your past, you just look in the slang and the slang, like the image of the old slang from playing Paris. You learn a lot from them.
How do you express yourself? What do you consider to be your art forms?
Music. So like I play mostly the banjo, the guitar as well. I write and sing. So I guess yeah, that's the way I express myself more. So I like to create things like banjos or just whatever I fancy making. I just try to make it. If it works, it doesn't work, I'll make it again. And yeah, just all that. Anything I'm thinking, I like to project it outside. So if someone sees it, can understand. Basically, like have a reflection of it. I like to do that. So I think I like to busk into playing the streets because there you see straight away basically what you're doing. Sometimes we live in Glasgow. It's raining a lot. Through the year. So sometimes you're busking and it's raining a lot and you're just there playing the banjo and singing tunes. And people they are like head down, but then they would hear like few notes or few lyrics and just like heads up and like give you a smile, drop a coin, or just the yeah, their position, the gestures would just change with what you are doing. And yeah, I guess that's
Who are some of your favorite Afropean artists?
mm,
Music, dance, paint, anything.
oh, so there's one thing with me is I'm very bad with names. There is a few artists like yes, Bonga. Bonga is African because Bonga is from Angola. I really like Bonga. Yeah, I grew up with it. I grew up with him. Like he was my dad's. I call him uncle, but was my dad's best friend. And kind of grew up basically seeing him and like, listening to him. He's from Angola, but I've learned that in France, and his children, so like they are like yeah, half French, half Angolan as well. They're doing some music, so I really like them. Then there's another artist, but he's half Congolese. I think he's Congolese, but like he grew up in Belgium. If I'm not or South African, and he grew up in Belgium. It's something like we grew up in South Africa, but he's Congolese, and there was something with Belgium. I can't remember the exact story. It's called Petite Noire. It's really good. Then Let's Stromae as well from Belgium. Uh, yeah, there are loads of foxes, but the names don't come straight away to me now.
What brings you joy?
I think everything. Yeah, everything. Because like even in like, the worst situation, I could always see the good. I will always try to see the good. And then as soon as I would see the good in it, it brings me joy. So like, yeah, it's everything. Even someone shouting at me at some point, might not that I would be like really happy that that person is shouting at me. If at some point basically I just understand that there is fun for something I've said that I've misunderstood or something I've done that was wrong, then I would be happy. Because I would know like how to like solve that problem.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah, pretty much. I would annoy a lot my parents. But
Um, is it difficult for you to find places to get your hair or nails done or find skin or makeup products?
uh, I don't know at all. Because my hair, I've not cut it. I've been to the hair. See, I've not been to the hairdresser in like years. So like the beard, I'll just, I've not even cut it in a while. And my hair, I've not cut it as well. So like I found products in the afro shops here. So like I would find, I don't even use much. Like just coconut oil, shea butter, and sometimes like some shea butter, like a hair mask or stuff like that. I barely like do them usually. Like I have some plants and stuff like that here. I can find just make like try make an oil out of it, and you can just take care of your hair like that.
Is it difficult to find fellow Black folks in Glasgow to befriend?
At first, I thought it was when I first moved here. I mean, I was saying growing up in the schemes in East Paris, they were all mixed race. So like black folks, mixed race folks, white folks, but like when I'm saying white is from anywhere. So like we're from anywhere. So I grew up there and I moved here. First time I remember visiting Glasgow, everyone was just white and British white, so it's very white. And I was just like, is even like I remember like meeting some guy and like having a chat with him. I was like, is there black people here? And he was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the more time I would hang out there, I would see more. And so in the like, and I think there has been much more immigration now, for example, from like London or like much more people like moving up north and moving to Glasgow. So that diversified a lot the city. And being Angolan at first, I remember it took me maybe like about a year to find the first Angolan person. But when I found them, then they explained me that back in the days there used to be quite a big community, Angolan community here coming for to study. But once they finished study, they just went back to Angola. And after there were not that many, now it's restarted inside like being quite a big community, like a big community because more people have stayed after their studies, and so yeah, it's crazy even like from any background. So like it's like UK black people, then African, then American as well, South American. Like yeah, it's pretty much from everywhere here.
How did that difference feel when you first got here?
Sorry?
How did that difference feel when you first got here? The difference in not seeing that many Black people or mixed people. What did that feel like?
Oh, it was strange at first because sometimes you would hear stuff that I mean I'm fair. I'm very fair, like for a mixed race. But instead, I went even like later when I moved here because there is less sun. I mean, there in France, there would be let's say like a late winter color, like when there has been not much sun. But like, no, I have always been like a bit darker. So even I've changed a bit. I went like way, like way whiter, and then so like people would not really realize that I was black. They would think maybe like I'm Spanish or Portuguese or Italian. Had a lot, and sometimes you would hear stuff that I was like, okay, so they're not even realizing that I'm half black. So that was so that could be hard for if you just take it like that, it could be hard. But then in a way, I was thinking like, wait, right, so they don't even realize that I'm half black. I'm just gonna listen to what they are saying. So they are just basically like putting all their cards on the table, and I'm not even putting one. And then once it's there, I can just like see my parts and make them understand that what you're saying is not right. Or for example, just change mentality or a misunderstanding, basically like whatever. Then I could basically just explain it like that. And so then, usually, I mean, that was a shock when some people basically would realize I was half black. They'd be like, what? And then basically just think of everything they have said. And when they see that in their eyes, I'm like, yeah. So now we can have an actual chat and we'll see like if, and many people they end up like changing their mentality a bit and stuff like that. So that's what I mean. I was saying as well, I'm enjoying everything because even that, if it's hard, at the end of the day, you're just like, boom, maybe I'm here and I'm that light, not bright, so like I can just explain and help basically from people that have like the like hardest head, basically like just be a bit more familiar kind of and maybe understand your background and what you're saying. You're actually being the person you are describing.
Do you have any day-to-day experiences related to your treatment as a Black or mixed person in Glasgow that you would like to share? You shared some, but
Um,
good or bad?
Good or bad? I mean, good. You have a lot of compliment. Like that's the thing that's funny because when I first moved here, and there was a black community, but not that big. But now, so people they would usually think like I was white, like whatever from Europe, would see curly hair, maybe Mediterranean, whatever. But then the more like and like people here I started realizing the mixed racing and stuff like that. Then when they would see me, they would not be. They would sometimes like ask me where I was from, and be like, "Oh, that's a beautiful mixed racing. That's a beautiful mix." That's then after like just sometimes when you explain some stuff like some like culture or and just explain some food or stuff like that. Yeah, that would be a good experience. And after the bad one, I've not actually lived that many. I'd say that the only one that really marked me was when I first moved here and I was walking down the road. I think, to be honest, that guy, I think he was the only person in the first year that realized straight away that I was half black. But the way he done it, like, so I was walking down the road and then he said, basically just like straight at me, like, oh, you have. And I mean, that's what, in a way, at least he spotted that I was half black.
How old
The
were
way he
you?
said it, I'm 29.
Were you at the time?
Oh, I was 21, I think. Yeah, I was 21. And yes, then turned around and I had a talk with that guy and so I went off when I went back to work. But yeah, I think that was, let's say, the weirdest because that is something in France I've never had. Sometimes people would point the fact that you're mixed race or whatever, but never really had something like that. And then the first time that happened, I was like, right. But as my mom would, has always told us, but then when there is something like that, then you just think like, okay, we're gonna have fun because we're gonna talk a lot. We're gonna have fun.
Is it hard for you to feel comfortable claiming your Black identity because some people see you as white passing?
No, not at all. No, because yeah, I know who I am. And I know where I grew up, how I grew up as well. And actually, some of my pals, like black, they told me you're more black than some black people. So like, you're my one is from one of my pals, like he's from Ivory Coast. And once he told me, he was like, man, you're more African than me. So no, there's never really been a problem.
What makes you feel the freest?
Mm, so when I play in the street, when I play, yeah, when I play, and mostly when I play in the street,
Why?
because there is nobody to tell you, like, there is nobody to tell you first of all what to do, when to go, when to stop. Sometimes you have some people like, actually I've never had that, but let's imagine, for example, someone would be like, it would be like telling you to stop. I mean, you'd be the only one to decide to stop or not, because that person is not your boss. And as well, the interaction with people, like I've met people from, and just in Glasgow, I've only bused in Glasgow. I met people from loads of places around the world just stopping to chat with me or, yeah, but mostly, yeah, just stopping to chat with me. And I've after some time, like you end up, for example, just going into a pub after busking, and there you meet some people that have seen you in the street. They would just come to you and be like, "Ah, man," you can have more of a chat with them, and then you know a bit more of the life story. And in the streets as well, you can realize how people basically see you. So, for example, just the way I would dress when I busk, I don't use a mic or an amp and stuff like that. So just draw voice and to push. And so depending on the way I would dress, then people they have you can see basically the idea they of you. So or if for example they would in some way like you would dress, they would think oh, person is really poor. So sometimes people they would not even try to engage with you. And after some time you dress it's a bit more class, and then people will interact with you. And it's not everyone. It's, but it's something that's funny as well to realize. And after sometimes like how to go around that. And that's the game. So sometimes, for example, like I'll dress like a homeless, but I would dress like what I call old time. So dress like braces and like have a high waisted shoulders and a shirt. So you don't even look like a tramp. You just dress old time. But then people they see that a guy with a banjo just dressed like he's from the 30s. And I'm like, and I remember a few people basically they would like yeah they would assume like speak for his homeless and stuff like that. When in there, no, not at all. I was like, no, just the way that's type of dress is all time. And it's comfortable as well when it's freezing cold. We'd rather are like thick 1930s trousers than the pair of jeans that I like now. Primark. So like not that I like Primark, so Primark is pretty good. But yeah, all those interaction and like how sometimes you go around what people can think, and yeah, to change masculine mentality, then you can do that a lot in the street. When you speak, for example, to junkies or homeless or beggars or anyone in the street, like in the pub, sometimes people are going to speak about the people living in the street in some ways, and basically never took the time to talk with them. And many times when I was busking, I was chatting with everyone. Sometimes they would stop and basically appreciate the tunes. If there is a spot where there is someone begging there, I'm gonna go and so I'm just going up and ask if I can bus next to them. And usually they're always happy for that. And there's been many people they would tell me, oh, so they would see me busking and then they would just like come around and just sit around. To me, it's great when they do that because if someone drops some money in my case, they would see them and they would drop some money for them as well. And many people they told me like their granddad used to play the banjo, and that remind them this. So if you can actually give some joy or like bring some of those memories to some people living in the streets that are whatever they are doing, I mean it's good. It's like an accomplishment at the end of the day.
Why the banjo?
I don't have no idea. I have no idea. Like when my first instrument was the violin, started when I was 6. And I actually just at first phone into the music. My dad being a musician, he was like, oh, mom that he knew. So would you like to do some music? Well, yeah. So picked up the instrument. My sister the piano and I the violin. Played that for a while. And it was at the conservatoire, so it was very classic and stuff like that. And it was not, like as I always say, it was not what I heard, basically what I was hearing. I was hearing something. And then I thought many times, like, don't know why I've always, maybe I've seen a banjo when I was really somewhere. But I've always had the banjo in my head. Like when I was wee, once I told my mom, like, can I use the pots to make a banjo? And she just looked at me and be what? And she just wanted to use pots. I think must have seen maybe cartoon or whatever. Like, and I never had a banjo. And then I was 14. I learned a bit the guitar. It was still not what was in my ear. And after I moved here, and 4 years ago, so when my dad passed a while ago, but 4 years ago, there was kind of like some ending of situations that were happening with his death and stuff like that. Some stuff basically like some cycle like finished, and then at that moment I was in a music shop and there was that banjo that was not that dear, and for once I had something. So I was like, oh well, I'll buy it. And I had no idea how to play it or anything. And so just bought the banjo, went straight to the park, and just like started practicing and practicing. And a few months later, no, but not even, because like I had the banjo, I think the week after or a few days later, I was just in a pub, so my friend was playing there with a band. And so just like sat on the back just to write some. So I was already writing some lyrics and poems and stuff. And so just like sitting on the back writing this stuff. And my pal, like when I left, he was like, why don't you take the banjo to play with us? I was like, I just bought it like 2 days ago. I don't know how to play it. And he told me, I was like, do you know your guitar chords? I was like, yeah. I was like, but next week you come, you take a banjo chord sheet or you learn them, like the basic one, G, C, D, A, whatever. And then you just look at my hands, I will do the chord on the guitar, and then you just do them on the banjo. I was like, all right. And then came one there the week after, one there the week after, and every week I was going there and just been practicing a lot all the time. And I was like, oh, now I need to. I moved here to to do music at some point, but I need to live with the music as well. And I was thinking, what's the easiest way? Because I was too shy, not confident to go to bars and basically tell them like, oh, I can play, I can do a set. Like, okay, I'm sure I could not. I did not know if I could. I was like, oh, my friend needs to make some money with it. Uh, let's go to let's go bus. Let's go in the street and you just play. And I spoke to some old timers, some old guys that I know from the pub. And one day we're having a drink here actually. And so I told them, I was like, yeah, I'm a bit scared to do that. And one of them, who's busked for a long time, now he's from here, but now he lives in Argentina. And he told me, when you need to put bread on your table, you're not scared. You're not scared of anything. I was like, okay, fair enough. And then the year after, so that for a year, that was in my head. And I was still a bit afraid. And there was that time after the COVID and zero money. And I was like, what could I do? And actually, I had to put bread on my table. So I was like, I'm going to take the banjo, go in the street and play. So I'd done that. Like, I'll go and play for half an hour or an hour, see how it goes. Ended up playing for maybe 3 or 4 hours. And again, there was some money. So I was like, good. And started like doing it a bit more. And I really started basically just trying to live with that maybe like a month ago. Before that, I would try to do more and more and more and more. And just the more I would do that, the more I would leave like kind of like the work. I've been working in bars and restaurants for a long time. So I would leave basically, the more basically I would just walk away from there. Keeping that as well, because I can do that. So if I need some money, and I have my pals working in the bar, so if they need someone, if they need a hand, just jump behind the bar on the weekend. But just trying to leave that and basically make basically set a job as a hobby, and my hobby just becomes what brings me like happiness and actually like money to pay the roof over my head. Yeah.
How do you see Black joy as resistance?
Mm. It's a way to show when people are wrong, what's the best way to show them that they are wrong with joy? Basically, if someone basically think these people they are like these, like money, dangerous, this and that. As soon as they see joy, as soon as they see when how these people have fun and the joy basically and how they share it, etc. That's human. So basically, that like feed and that feeds them from feed from them. Basically, they feel that, so it make them like joyful as well. Like when you have, and for example, like the best example I have in my head there is when I was in Queens Park. So when I first moved here, I would not see that many black folks like in Queens Park. And then there was one summer I just go take a day, and I see a full family having a barbecue. I was like, oh, nice, because when I grew up, it was that. Just go with the family and have a huge barbecue. And so there was a full family having a barbecue. And I could see people like just walking their dog and just looking at them and just giving them like side looks. And it was, when you would look at the folks walking like on the white folks walking on the path, it was weird, a weird dynamic, because you had people there having greatest fun and family and good food as well. And the folks there being like, what are they doing? Like, can they do that? Like, is it not too many people? Or, and so you could see that basically, and that was so funny. And one day there was so that was happening, and and there was a wee kid basically that just went over, and the mom was like, no, come back here, come back here. And then the dad that was like on the barbecue, just so that we get, and he was like, you want a burger? And the guy was just like said yeah, so he just made him a burger, gave him. And at first it's a win, and the mom basically was just coming around just to get like a kid to come back, and he was like, and then he gave him the burger, and then the mom was just like that. She was like, oh, but just keep it like this for you to stay. He was like, no, we can share. And then so they just like started chatting, and then that family, Swedish family, just stayed a bit with them. There's some food, the kids were playing together, and they communicate that joy basically they were having. And these people who are maybe like, I don't, not thinking like they are bad, but just being a bit like, we can't go because it's not really something they do here. It's like people are having a barbecue, you don't go up to them and ask if you each other food or whatever. But just that like kindness and like just like a react of giving that part, it was just beautiful. And I guess it's like how Black Joy is like communicating. That's the word. It's really communicating because it's true, it's real. Most joy is true and it's real and it's deep. But when you have like I guess in African culture, it's still like really present. Like in Europe, it's present as well, but it's a bit more kind of like controlled. In Africa, or like people with African backgrounds, from American, Europeans, or Afro-Asian, or anywhere, it's still really present, and it's still like a way that kind of you grow up and things like that, just showing your feeling. But then here, the way they show the feeling is different. They keep them a bit more, they show some, but yeah, it's different. It's not as then when they want to communicate that joy, it's not as communicative because they have to go deeper to like be able to express it. When in the end, for us, it's fairly natural to just express it.
When you think of Scottish values, what comes to mind?
Say pride. They are very proud people. Yeah, very proud people. And they are dedicated as well. Yeah, say proud and dedicated. And as well, that is the thing that's funny here. They don't forget the past and they know where they're from. Don't forget the past. But in a way, the thing that is scary is that you see that with the younger generation. You know, only 29. You can see that with the younger generation, it's not changing a bit. Start basically forgetting a bit about the past. When in the end, Scotland is Scotland because of that. Because people, they always remember that. And you have few places in Europe where you still have people like cultures that are like the Scottish one. Most of the time, when you realize like Celtic culture and stuff like that, that's still present. Countries where it's still present. It's almost like a. So it's almost like it's changing a bit more with the time, and hopefully it doesn't too much. But yeah, I'd say that yeah, Scottish people are proud, dedicated, and they don't forget.
How does that compare to French values?
French people are pretty much the same. I think that's why like there's always been like a good like French people and Scottish people have always been going along very well. And like here throughout history and in even now But throughout history, like French and the old, I thought we have to always mention that here, the old alliance. That's the, I think, one of the oldest, if not the oldest, alliance in Europe, within two kingdoms. So that's the French kingdom and Scottish kingdom. Have always helped each other really to go against the English. But there's always been that like stuff going on. So in France, we pretty much have the same value. French people are very proud and dedicated as well, very passionate. And and it's the exact same as well in France now. People are starting forgetting about the past when before it wasn't. It's like we know where we're from, we know what how our country has been made, what's going on here, so we don't forget and we just move along with it. So I mean, in France, like we still have like that stuff, and we're known for the protests and strikes and stuff like that. And that is something here they have, but they don't go like as much as we go. So they're still in a way like here kind of see, for example, when your parents they tell you like we can't do this because of this and that when you are young. After when you grow up, then you can do it. Sometimes there are stuff that you can do, and it's because you can evolve, and then you know why you could not do it. But in the when you were young, so maybe it was dangerous, or for example, when my mom was to tell me like don't use like a hacksaw or whatever when I was like 5, 6 years old, that was for me to not cut my finger. And after when I started growing up and then just like using tools, etc., I was a bit more cautious. So like I'm not gonna cut my finger. I've cut myself a few times, but because of that, you're a bit more conscious. But you know that you can actually like go like past that barrier. Basically, the interdiction is not there to be like there all the time. And here, people that are a bit more okay. There is that law. There is this, and that. So we can't really do outside of like from the like outside of that zone, the area. When in the end, France is like, yeah, okay, we're staying in that area, but because we chose to. Then, if at some point there is something wrong and it's a bit too much, then we are not. We will show that we can step out because those barriers they are not like holding us. Like we're not like. I mean, it's like any cows. Like cows, like for example, like they stay in barriers. They stay within like place. But then sometimes when stuff go wrong, even them they would go and break the barriers, or they would go above. For example, the horse can jump easily above a barrier. He just stays in because he chose to. And in France, like well, we still have that kind. We still have like we stay here because we choose to. Even if everything is not right, maybe we can change it in the long term. If at some point there is something that goes wrong, then I don't know. Just jump that barrier. I'll stop the train. I'll stop, and I'll make you understand that. And that's something that can be like. Then usually in France, I've tried to like kind of stop, like slow down a bit after what they are doing, but when they don't, like what's happening at the moment, sometimes it's like you wonder like how then when you know like how far basically it can go, and rather basically things to change before it gets to the worst. But for like yeah, I'd say for in France, people they would not hesitate to go sometimes to the worst to get the better, rather than here they would wait much more because they would be like, no, we don't want to get the worst because it will never bring better. Anyway, don't know if I explain myself well, but the mentality is slightly different, but it's pretty much the same.
Are you proud to live in Scotland?
So yeah, and I grew up in where I grew up in France, and so my grand being in Brittany. It's a very chaotic it's a very chaotic area, Brittany. And since I was young, I've always don't know why I wanted to be in Scotland or thought about Scotland, and now I'm here. I'm like, yeah, it's I know why I'm here now, and it's a good country because there's a lot to yeah, there is a lot to do here and a lot to come. So it's a very nice country. It's a very good country. Not always the easiest country all the time, but to be honest, we're not bad compared to other places. Many people they complain about things, but I tell them just go there, there, or there. Not that I've traveled a lot, so not that I've traveled a lot, but yeah, here we're very good. Like, quite good. Not everything is perfect. And some things need to change, but it's very good.
Do your race, gender, and sexuality feel present to you in day-to-day experiences?
In what way?
Like some of the race-related things you said about someone like calling you a name on the street,
Mhm.
or do you ever feel like as a black man or a mixed person that you get like sexualized or um, like seen as like a token or something like that? Because
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to. I mean, you have people they would say like they would just think like you're a bit of a player and stuff like that. But in the end, not at all. Like I mean, many times I was for a point like playing with some people with there, and they're just like, oh, we can get that girl, we can get that girl, so sure you're just here to play. Like I'm here to play sometimes with my pal and most. So sometimes you would have women as well that come up to you and you just know what they want. Like you just know why they're coming up to you. It's not to actually know you, it's because they want something after the bar, after the night. But I'm not interested in that. So like, if the person like usually is like, if I'm going out, has to play music and just have a good time with my pals, meet some people as well. But then you meet people and then you meet them later on. But you have many people they would just like in French call them charro. So it's just someone that just goes around a lot. And yeah, they would kind of like assume that with you, but
what does it mean for you to be a Black European or a Black European, Black Scottish, Celtic, whatever word feels best for you? What does it mean for you to be a Black European person?
mm, I was actually with that. What the question that had not really like that, but we thought about it with the bow, with mixed race as well. And what did we say again? Yeah, it's like it was quite funny. So basically, like first Europeans were black. Then after it's like when you look at like all the genealogy and the travel of people, etc., they were like way browner here. And basically mixed race people, Afro-Europeans, we are having a laugh about that because in a way we look much more like our ancestors, like what people do now, basically. So like we're kind of like just show like just the in a way like real Europeans, basically. So not really not in that way, but like real European in the way the color of Europe is not like white bone blue eyes or like that and dark eyes and green eyes or this or that is actually a mix is someone that is brown is European and after but yeah through like genetics and stuff like that you change it but Afro-Europeans to be they look much more like our ancestors they play so maybe that's why in a way like it's nice to that we get there from that it gets there and basically like more and more and more seen and more on the mainstream and stuff like that because it just shows it just shows the visage the face of Europe as it's always been. It only changed like people thought that Europeans were white, like but that changed like I think it was like 16th century or something like that. So it's not even that ancient. Before people they would not even do like this distinguish in between like colors of skin. It was they were on another level. And so now basically I mean if Europe basically just becomes again as it is a mixed race and people just realize but Europe is mixed race as well, then we'll go like before it and be like all sectarian and stuff like that. So we go beyond just like a color of skin.
What are some ways in which you blend your blackness with your Europeanness?
Some ways.
Maybe like food or music or cultural things.
Oh, I have a lot of food and I like cooking. So I like cooking and I like eating. So cook a bit of everything. And usually I can mix sometimes, yeah, European, African, or just cook African, just cook European, whatever. Then music wise, growing up with like, both background within my music, if I guess, I think you can hear it a bit. So that's what some people as well they could tell me. And then yeah, but sometimes like in the art or find sometimes like I would do like some paintings and or like woodwork or things like that. I get and sometimes within the woodwork like you can see it because I would yeah just picture like, things I've seen when I was with because they would come they were from everywhere. And I would just like do that. So I guess in I mix it in every I never like realize when I mix it, but pretty much everything I do in my life. That's for sure. In everything I do in my life, I just mix pretty much everything. Yeah, mix both background.
Do you feel more black, more European, or neither?
Neither.
Have you always felt that way, or did you come to that conclusion?
I mean, I came to that conclusion. I've always thought like that because, to be honest, in my family, we've always been brought up like that. It's like you're not more white than you're black. But me being way lighter than my siblings, all my siblings, dark hair, brown eyes, and darker skin, way darker skin. I'm the only one that was blonde. I was born like blue eyes, blonde, and just white. And so growing up when I was young, I remember basically asking myself, why am I not like as dark as my sibling? Or why am I? Or sometimes you would be like, I would be like someone and basically like, yeah, it's kids. It's like, yeah, but you're not even black. Like, I would be like, in front probably when someone would say that, I would be like, yeah, but I'm mixed, so I'm half. And even so, then the other person would be like, oh yeah, I guess. And from there, like, you just start having some realization. But when I was young, yeah, I would ask myself sometimes, like, why am I not darker? Or sometimes the wish that I would be darker, so like people could see as well when you had, for example, when someone picking on someone because they are black and you're just next to it and you're like, well, why are you not picking on me? Because I'm mixed as well. But so sometimes I would almost be like, I'd like to be like darker so like he can pick on me as well, not only on him. But then growing up, I realized that, yeah, maybe he would pick on him, but I will get him back. And at first he would think this is this white person getting back at him. But then he would realize that, it's like I was saying earlier, he's not only white. And that's what I say growing up and realizing that being fairer can be yeah it's good in the end because within yourself you're not much different at first like for to like three the eye or the other you might look just black or just white or the mix and that's in the like in a way like an advantage kind of like a wee spy.
How do you think Scottish people view black men and women?
Mm. Well, I know that's so that it depends. That's funny because I mean you have younger generations. I don't really know how to describe it because it's I think because you can't do generation with like Scottish people how would see them because say you'd have older folks they would see not think much not in the way not think much like think they're lower or anything but like they would just actually they would not basically like think anything like bad or good but like they would not really hang around they would but what as soon as they start like hanging around everything is fine basically they start sharing a lot. At first there's always kind of like a wee time to start like chatting basically with each other. Saying then say younger generations, you'd have people that just see like Scottish folk, they would just see like black people as like yeah, just like to go out, dance, and have women or have men if they're gay, but usually like here people they would just see like black people as straight. You go out, you have women and like every night and basically just like that. And then when they would approach them, when they would approach, they would kind of you can see that in their demeanor, kind of like hey, you're a player and stuff like that. And basically, they just try and play on that to like to devalue you, basically, to be your friend. And then you're just like, mate, you're being a caricature of like the shows in the 80s, basically. And then after you have like other like folks that basically they just see like people that are like cool, yeah, good job, and like fine, like just see that as they are, like not really see them they are players, they are players or whatever, just see them as yeah, humans and be like, yeah, we can play our pals and like, we can just end up trying and stuff like that. But yeah, it's quite funny the way like and I guess because it's still fairly young to be honest in a way when you look at it for Scottish people, and even if they travel, it's there. It's still fairly young, but like they are interacting more and more and more with black people. For example, stuff that like I would say sometimes the way it is here, it's almost like when I think of like France in the and I wasn't born, but from what I've heard, like in the 80s basically. And there was really like starting like having like a much bigger like immigration from Africa, like sub-Saharan Africa. And so here is it feels the same, even if it's not the same because we're not in the 80s and there is internet and stuff like that. But that is what you see on TV or internet and all that, and then there is living with it, seeing them day to day and stuff, and going out and things. And yeah, it's just yeah, it's like not see social people see black folks as bad or as good. They just see them as what they've been portrayed, kind of. They see that like that portrait has been like played a lot. They would just see it like that, pretty much.
Do you think you fit into Scotland's beauty standards?
Well, I guess yeah.
What?
Yeah, just been a few like for yeah a few times like it was beautiful. Like me when I'm working on the bar, sometimes when I'm playing or just like in the bar, whatever. Men or women, they are beautiful. And the thing that's funny is like you have gay men and straight women or gay women that would tell me that I'm beautiful. And you have straight men that would tell me I'm beautiful as well. So it's like almost kind of like pretty much like target everyone. Yeah.
What do you want people to know about the Black experience in Glasgow? What makes you appreciate it, and what would you change?
Mm. Can you repeat the question?
What do you want people to know about the Black experience in Glasgow? What makes you appreciate it, and what would you change?
Mm, I appreciate it. People are really open here. Like, that is one thing that you have to, like, I should not say that with about Scottish people, but they're really open. They're always like, they're really open to the other. After you have voice too open, it's like anything. You just have voice too open, depending like the person, how they are, it's still. But Scottish people are really open, so they are, yeah, they're always basically, when, they're always gonna make you feel comfortable, basically. There's never been like any aside from the few like bad times I said, but there's never really been like any bad bad behavior or people from example, like if I go to there's a pub where I play, when you walk in, it's everyone is Scottish Irish. And a few times like I've been there like with pals in Ivory Coast, Cedric or another house from Cameroon. And so we get there, and at first you see that. That's what I was telling you. Like you see the old folks, that just like it's like in the Western movies, just turn around. Everyone just like look at you when you pass the door, and so first like you feel basically that stare, and then basically once you just like you just relax. Like if you just like feel the stare and then you just walk away. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, that people are always open, and like as soon as you just step towards them, they'll make a step towards you as well. Things always go well, and then bad. That's, that's the thing. I mean, apart from what I was saying earlier, when like someone called me name before police, like I would not even make a generalization. It's just someone is doesn't have the light like on every each floor basically, but no, but stuff. Like, to be honest, I'm one of the worst person to have like bad experiences because I would always try to find a way to make an experience well. So if someone is acting in a way because of what you are or who you are, at first basically I would learn to know like if it's because of who I am or because of what I am. And then from there I know like where to chat and basically to try and change kind of in a way. I'll make the person understand like a way to approach it. Like, there's never been any really bad experience here. Because people that are here that are actually really helpful, like for example, if there is something wrong that happens in the street, people are gonna step in. They're not gonna, like, for example, if there is someone that's getting allegedly abused, people are gonna step in. Like you would have like then white Scottish folks that would just like step in to say no, it's not right. So yeah, don't. And from my point of view, like there's never really been bad stuff. After you've had, I mean, I've heard of things that have happened. For yeah, Pau, who is a Pau's black, which I'm always. I mean, the guy grew up here. He's Scottish, black Scottish, and a black Caribbean background. I don't remember what exactly. But basically, once there was a protest, and when he went there, so like there was the police basically searching some people randomly, and so loads of people passed by, all white, and as soon as they passed by, they just like stop him and basically has to get his bag and stuff like that. So you would still have those things happening, but I don't put them on because it's Scotland. I put them on that happens everywhere. Growing up in France, because there, I mean, they would here they would barely realize that was mixed, but in France they would know. So when you go by the police, they search you all the time. Even if you don't have anything on you, you're just walking about going to get your train or going to uni or sitting down or doing whatever, they can control you. Okay, so my brother being just at the Sacré-Cœur, when I was in France. So at the Sacré-Cœur, just being chilling, like having his cigarette, just looking at the landscape and like having his time. And then the police just arrived on each side and basically started asking for his paper and stuff like that. And he was like, why? And just here chilling. Why do you need to know? And the thing in France, like you need to have your papers on you. If the police ask you them, you need to show them. If you start resisting, they can take you to the post or whatever. So to be honest, I was saying that here people complain, but they are way better than even for people just in France sometimes. Not that I'm saying in France all the police is racist, but what I'm saying is that when you're a bit mixed, so you have curly hair, they tend to control you a bit more. Especially some, not all the police, but certain type of like divisions in the police. And when I grew up, usually like they would control the same when you should have not done anything. So here is yeah fairly good. So some of those stuff still happen, but I've barely ever seen it happening. To be honest,
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
come to Glasgow. No, yeah. Come and visit Scotland. Like it's a great place to learn all the things. Yeah. And the landscape are nice. Can be in town, you can be in the islands, and can have a great time here.
Thank you.
No worries.